Hey English learners, welcome back to the English Leap Podcast, your English podcast for daily life English, real conversations, and easy English listening practice.
Yeah, this is the place where you learn real English from real talk, not from boring grammar books.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Nab.
And Nab, how are you doing today? You look like you've had a week already, and it's only Tuesday.
Haha, it has been a week. I had 3 meetings back-to-back this morning, and by the third one, I was just nodding and hoping nobody asked me a direct question.
The classic nod and hope strategy.
It's a real strategy. It works about 60% of the time.
Only 60?
The other 40%, someone says, "Nab, what do you think?" And my brain just goes completely blank.
Okay, hold that thought, because that blank feeling is actually going to become very important today.
Ooh, foreshadowing. I like it.
So, before we get into that, how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun?
I actually went hiking, which for me is a big deal, because I usually just stay home and watch shows.
Wow, Nab the hiker. I didn't know this side of you existed.
Neither did I, honestly. My legs are still upset with me about it.
Haha, was it worth it?
Completely worth it. There was this moment at the top where you could see the whole city, and I just stood there for like 10 minutes not saying anything, just looking.
That sounds like a nice kind of quiet.
It really was. What about you? How was your weekend?
Pretty low-key. I tried a new recipe. It did not go well, and then I spent an embarrassing amount of time reorganizing my bookshelf by color instead of by author.
Wait, color? That sounds chaotic for actually finding a book later.
It is completely chaotic. I can't find anything now, but it looks beautiful.
Haha, priorities.
Exactly. Okay, small talk finished. Let's get into today's topic, because today is a big one.
A big one? What do you mean?
Today is day 1 of something brand new we're starting, a 30-day challenge.
Ooh, I love a good challenge. What are we challenging our listeners to do?
To speak English with confidence, not perfect grammar, not a giant vocabulary, confidence.
I think that's actually the thing most learners want more than anything else. Not to sound like a textbook, to just speak without freezing.
Exactly. So for the next 30 days, every episode is going to give you one idea and one small action you can take that same day. And today, on day 1, we're starting with the most honest question of the whole series.
Okay, I'm ready. Hit me with it.
Why do you freeze up?
Ooh, direct opener.
Haha, I mean it though. Think about the last time you knew the words in your head. You knew the grammar was probably fine, and you still didn't say it. You just stayed quiet.
Oh, that happens to me constantly. Even now. And English is basically my whole career.
Really? Even you?
Especially me, sometimes. There's this specific kind of freeze where the sentence is right there, sitting in my mouth, and something just...
So it's not really about knowing English, is it?
No, clearly not. If it happens to someone who's fluent.
Right. So there's something else going on, and I think that something else is fear.
Okay, but fear of what exactly? Because I think a lot of people would say, fear of making a mistake.
That's what most people think, yeah. But here's what I've come to believe after doing this podcast for a while and talking to so many learners. It's not really the mistake they're afraid of.
Then what is it?
It's being judged for the mistake. That's a very different fear, even though it feels the same in the moment.
Okay, break that down for me. What's the difference?
All right, picture this. You're carrying a full cup of coffee across a room.
Okay, I'm holding my coffee, walking carefully.
If nobody's in the room and you spill a little on your hand, what happens?
Nothing much. I say a bad word, I wipe it up, I keep walking.
Right, no big deal. Now, same coffee, same spill, but this time the room is full of people, and they're all watching you walk.
Oh no, now I'm sweating just imagining it.
Exactly, the coffee didn't change. The spill is the exact same size. What changed is who's watching.
So when I freeze up speaking English, it's not really the grammar mistake that scares me.
No, it's the eyes on you while it happens. There's actually a name for this in psychology. It's called the spotlight effect, the feeling that everyone is watching and judging you way more closely than they actually are.
Wait, way more than they actually are? So people aren't watching as closely as I think?
Almost never. Most people are far too busy thinking about their own coffee cup, so to speak, to closely judge yours.
Huh, that's oddly comforting.
And here's the useful part. Once you know it's the spotlight effect and not your actual English ability, you can work with it differently. You're not fixing your grammar first, you're fixing your relationship with being watched.
Okay, I need a story here. You always have a story.
Haha, of course I do. So, years ago, when I was learning Portuguese, I went to order food at this little restaurant, and I froze completely. Not because I didn't know the word for chicken.
You knew the word for chicken.
I absolutely knew the word for chicken. I froze because there were 3 people in line behind me, and I could feel their eyes on my back.
So what happened?
I panicked and said something wrong, really wrong. I think, somehow, I asked for a chicken that was also a table.
Haha, a chicken table?
A chicken table. Don't ask me how that happened grammatically. I still don't fully understand it myself. But the waiter just laughed, kindly and honestly. So did I once I realized what I'd said. And that was the moment that changed something for me.
What do you mean?
Nothing bad happened. The world didn't end. Nobody in that line filmed me for the internet. I got my food, eventually, and I also got a really good story out of it.
So, the fear in your head was way bigger than the actual moment turned out to be.
Every single time, honestly. That's almost always true.
Okay, I have one too, now that you've shared yours.
Let's hear it.
So, when I first moved for work, I had to introduce myself to a whole room of new colleagues. In English, obviously, but also just, in general, introducing yourself to a room is hard.
Very hard, even in your first language.
Right. And I had this whole introduction planned in my head. Nice, smooth, a little joke at the end. And when it was my turn, I opened my mouth, and what came out was basically half of the sentence, then silence. Then I just said, "Yeah, that's me," and sat down.
Haha, yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's me. That was the whole introduction. I wanted to disappear into my chair.
So what happened after?
Honestly, nothing. A couple people smiled kindly. One person even said afterward, "Don't worry, my first introduction here was worse." And within a week, nobody remembered it at all except me.
That's such a good example of the spotlight effect in action. You remembered it for weeks. They forgot it in an hour.
Exactly. That gap between how big it felt and how small it actually was, that's basically the whole lesson of today.
Okay, so now that we understand why the freeze happens, let's talk about what we actually do with it. Because understanding it is nice, but I know people want something practical.
Fair. So here's the shift I want you to make today. Instead of trying to eliminate the fear completely, which honestly might not even be possible, you practice acting even while the fear is there.
So not, wait until I'm not scared anymore.
No, because that day might never come. Instead, it's, I feel the spotlight, and I speak anyway.
That feels much more doable than waiting to become fearless.
It really is. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's speaking with the fear still sitting right there next to you.
Actually, before we go further, we got a message from a listener that fits perfectly here. Do you want to read it?
Yes, let's do it. This is from someone named Sophia. She wrote, "I know so many words, I can read English news easily. But when my coworker asks me something in a meeting, my mind goes completely empty and I just say, 'Sorry, can you repeat?' Even when I understood the question."
Oh, that's such a familiar feeling.
So familiar. Sophia, if you're listening, that empty feeling you're describing, that's the spotlight effect happening in real time. Your English knowledge didn't disappear. It just got temporarily blocked by the feeling of being watched.
And the good news is, that block gets smaller every single time you speak through it, even a little.
Exactly. It's not about becoming someone who never freezes. It's about freezing for a shorter time and recovering faster.
Okay, so what's today's tiny action? What do we want listeners to actually do?
Today's action is small on purpose. I want you to say one English sentence out loud today, to a real person if you can, or even just to your phone recording, knowing that it might come out a little wrong.
On purpose, knowing it might be wrong.
On purpose, not because you're trying to be perfect, because you're practicing being watched, even a tiny bit, and surviving it completely fine.
That's such a small ask, but I can already imagine how it adds up over 30 days.
That's exactly the point of this whole challenge. You're not trying to become fluent today. You're just trying to prove to yourself that the room does not actually collapse when you make a mistake.
Let's practice this together right now, actually, live.
Yes, let's do it. I'll say a sentence and you repeat it after me, out loud, right now, even if you feel a little silly doing it alone in your car or your kitchen.
Ready when you are, everybody.
I am learning to speak with confidence.
My mistakes do not make me a bad speaker.
Today I will speak even when I feel nervous.
How did that feel, saying it out loud?
A little strange, honestly, saying it to no one.
Perfect. That strange feeling is exactly right for day 1. Let's do one more round, but this time, I want you to finish the sentence yourself.
Ooh, I like this version.
Okay, here we go. One thing I'm scared to say in English is,
If nobody was watching me, I would speak more.
one small English sentence I can say today is, am.
Notice, you didn't have time to make those perfect. You just had to let them come out.
And that's really the whole skill we're building this month.
Okay, before we close today, let's do our tiny word tour. A few words that came up today.
First word, self-conscious.
Self-conscious means you're very aware of what other people might think of you, in an uncomfortable way.
For example, I feel self-conscious when I speak English in a meeting.
Or, I used to be very self-conscious about my accent, but I'm working on that.
Next word, spotlight effect.
This is the psychology term we talked about. The feeling that people are watching and judging you far more than they actually are.
For example, I forgot most of that mistake by tomorrow. That's just the spotlight effect.
Or, remember the spotlight effect next time you feel embarrassed speaking English.
Next word, vulnerable.
Vulnerable means open to being hurt or judged, a little exposed.
For example, speaking a new language always makes me feel vulnerable at first.
Or, it's okay to feel vulnerable when you're learning something new.
And last word today, recover.
To recover means to return to normal after something difficult, like a mistake or a freeze.
For example, I froze for a second, but I recovered quickly and kept talking.
Or, the goal isn't to never freeze, it's to recover faster each time.
Great set of words for day 1. Let's recap everything before we go.
Okay, today, day 1, we learned that freezing up usually isn't really about grammar. It's about fear of being watched, something psychologists call the spotlight effect.
And we learned that most people are far too busy with their own coffee cup to judge yours as harshly as you imagine.
Exactly. And your tiny action for today is one sentence, said out loud on purpose, mistakes and all.
Small step, big shift, over 30 days.
Exactly right. Tomorrow, on day 2, we're talking about something called the confidence loop, and why confidence actually comes after you speak, not before it, which is going to surprise a lot of people.
That one's going to flip a lot of assumptions.
It really will, so don't miss it.
If today's episode helped you even a little, please like this episode, subscribe, and share it with a friend who's also working on their confidence.
And if you want to send us your own freeze-up story like Sophia did, send it in. We'd love to read it on a future episode.
And remember, you didn't freeze today. You said the sentence. That's day 1, done, and that's enough.
This was the English Leap Podcast with Jay and Nab.
See you tomorrow for day 2.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye, take care.